Driverly.com, unlimited drama series.
They say sarcasm is the last refuge of the desperate. I'm practically a sarcasm billionaire these days. I stared at my reflection in the bathroom mirror of Murphy's bar, adjusting my tie that Rachel had picked out 3 years ago, back when she still cared what I looked like, back when she didn't roll her eyes every time I opened my mouth. My name is Ethan Voss, and I'm 38 years old. I manage IT projects for a mid-sized consulting firm in Hartford, Connecticut. I drive a reliable Honda Civic, pay my taxes on time, and until tonight, I was married to the most beautiful woman who ever made me feel like absolute garbage. Ethan, get your ass out here! Rachel's voice cut through the bar's ambient noise like a rusty knife. We're starting the next round. I splashed cold water on my face and walked back to our usual table. Game night at Murphy's had been a monthly tradition for 2 years now. Rachel, her sister Bree, Bree's husband Greg, our former friends Tom and Jennifer, and Tyler Brandt, the gym owner who'd been screwing my wife for the past 6 months. Oh yes, I knew about Tyler. Hard to miss when your wife starts working out at 5 a.m. every day and comes home glowing like she'd just discovered the meaning of life. Tyler was everything I wasn't. 6'2", muscles that had muscles, and the kind of confident smirk that made women forget they had husbands. Finally, Rachel said as I sat down. She was wearing the red dress I'd bought her for our anniversary, the anniversary she'd forgotten. We're playing Truth or Dare Couples Edition. My stomach dropped. This was going to be a massacre. Ooh, this is going to be fun, Bree giggled, her third martini making her eyes glassy. Bree was Rachel's younger sister, but acted like she was still in high school. She had the same auburn hair as Rachel, but none of the intelligence. What she lacked in brains, she made up for in cruelty. Ethan looks nervous, Tyler said, leaning back in his chair, his biceps strained against his black t-shirt. Don't worry, buddy. It's just a game. Buddy. The word dripped with condescension. Tom shuffled the cards. Tom used to be my best friend. We'd known each other since college, been each other's best man, spent countless weekends watching football and complaining about our jobs. But somewhere along the way, he'd started siding with Rachel in every argument. Maybe it was because his wife Jennifer had become Rachel's closest confidant. Maybe it was because successful, beautiful women like Rachel and Jennifer made men like Tom and me feel grateful just to be in their presence. Okay, first card, Tom announced. If you had to choose, would you marry your spouse again knowing what you know now? The table went quiet. This was supposed to be fun, but the question hung in the air like smoke from a house fire. I'll go first, Jennifer said, squeezing Tom's hand. Absolutely. Tom's my soulmate. Tom beamed. Greg nodded toward Bree. Same here. Bree makes every day an adventure. Ah, baby, Bree cooed, kissing his cheek. All eyes turned to Rachel and me. I could see the calculation in her eyes, the way she was weighing her words for maximum impact. This wasn't about answering honestly. This was about performance. Well, Tyler prompted, his eyes dancing with amusement. Rachel looked directly at me, and for a moment, I saw something that might have been pity. Then her expression hardened. Absolutely not, she said clearly. Never again. I mean, who'd marry this loser twice? The table erupted in uncomfortable laughter. Tom snorted beer through his nose. Bree cackled like a witch. Jennifer tried to look sympathetic, but couldn't hide her smirk. Greg at least had the decency to look away. Tyler was grinning like Christmas morning. Damn, Rachel. Tell us how you really feel. I'm just being honest, Rachel said, shrugging. Isn't that the point of the game? I was young and stupid. I thought I could fix him, make him more ambitious, more confident. But you can't polish a turd. More laughter. My face burned with humiliation, but I kept my expression neutral. Inside, something was crystallizing. A decision I'd been avoiding for months was finally becoming clear. What about you, Ethan? Jennifer asked, her voice dripping with false sweetness. Would you marry Rachel again? I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out a manila envelope. I'd been carrying it for 3 days, waiting for the right moment. This was it. Finally, I said, sliding the envelope across the table to Rachel. Something we agree on. Rachel stared at the envelope like it might bite her. What is this? Divorce papers, I said calmly. Already filed, you've been served. The laughter died instantly. Rachel's face went white, then red. then white again. She grabbed the envelope with shaking hands and tore it open. "You can't be serious," she whispered. "Dead serious," I said, standing up. "You dumped me a long time ago, Rachel. I'm just making it official." "Ethan, wait," Tom started, but I held up my hand. "No, Tom. I'm done waiting. Done hoping things will get better. Done pretending I don't see what's right in front of my face." I looked directly at Tyler. "Or who?" Tyler's smirk faltered for the first time all evening. I threw a 20 on the table. "That covers my drinks. Thanks for the honesty, everyone. It was illuminating." As I walked toward the exit, I heard Rachel calling my name, her voice cracking with panic. But I didn't turn around. For the first time in years, I was moving forward. The next morning, I woke up on my friend Marcus's couch with a crick in my neck and the satisfaction of a man who'd finally grown a spine. Marcus Chen, no relation to anyone Rachel knew, was my coworker and the only friend who'd never fallen under my wife's spell. "Coffee?" Marcus asked, padding into the living room in his bathrobe. Marcus was 42, divorced, and completely immune to female manipulation. He'd warned me about Rachel from day one. "God, yes," I groaned, sitting up. My phone had been buzzing all night, 17 missed calls from Rachel, 12 text messages ranging from apologetic to furious, and one voicemail that started with sobbing and ended with threats. "She's been calling me too," Marcus said, handing me a steaming mug. "Wants to know where you are. I told her you'd joined the circus. Thanks for letting me crash here. Stay as long as you need. My couch has seen worse." Marcus settled into his recliner. "So what's the plan? You can't avoid her forever. You have a kid together. Lucas, my 14-year-old son, the one good thing to come out of my marriage." He was quiet, introspective, spent most of his time playing video games and reading. Too much like me for Rachel's taste. "I need to see him," I said. "Explain what's happening before Rachel poisons him against me." "Good luck with that. She's had years of practice." My phone rang. Rachel again. This time, I answered. "Where the hell are you?" she screamed before I could say hello. "Good morning to you too, sweetheart." "Don't you sweetheart me. You humiliated me in front of everyone. Do you have any idea what you've done?" "I filed for divorce. It's not exactly a state secret. You can't just leave. We have a mortgage, a son, responsibilities." "Funny how you didn't think about those when you were screwing Tyler." Silence then. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Rachel, please, the 5 a.m. workouts? The new lingerie I didn't buy you? The way you smell like his cologne when you come home? I'm not blind." "You're paranoid and delusional," she said, but her voice lacked conviction. "If you think I'm cheating, you're—" "I don't think, Rachel. I know. The question is, does Tyler know he's not your first affair?" Another silence, longer this time. "I want you out of the house," she said finally. "Take your stuff and go." "Already done. I'll be by this afternoon to get the rest." "Lucas doesn't want to see you." "Let me hear that from him." I hung up and immediately called my son's cell phone. "Dad?" Lucas's voice was small, confused. "Hey, buddy. How are you doing?" "Mom's crying. She says you hate us." My heart clenched. "I don't hate anyone, Lucas. Your mom and I are having problems. But that has nothing to do with you. I love you more than anything in the world." "Are you really getting divorced?" "Yeah, we are. I'm sorry you had to find out this way." "It's okay," he said quietly. "I kind of figured. You guys haven't been happy for a long time. Smart kid. Too smart for his own good. Can I see you today? Maybe we can grab lunch, talk about things?" "Mom says I'm not allowed to see you until you come to your senses." "What do you say?" A pause. "I say Mom doesn't get to decide who I have lunch with." That afternoon, I met Lucas at Tony's Pizza, our usual spot. He looked older than 14, tired. In a way that broke my heart. Rachel's emotional chaos had been wearing on him too. "So what happens now?" he asked, picking pepperoni off his slice. "Now we figure out how to be a family in a different way," I said. I'm going to get my own place. You'll have 2 homes instead of one. Will you be happier? The question caught me off guard. I think so. Will you be okay with that? He nodded. Mom's been really mean to you. I see it even when she thinks I don't. You don't deserve that. Your mom's not a bad person, Lucas. We're not good together anymore. She's been texting someone a lot, someone named Tyler. So he knew. Of course he knew. How do you feel about that? Lucas shrugged. I don't like him. He came by the house last week when you were working late. He acted like he owned the place. My jaw tightened. Tyler had been in my house, around my son, while I was busting my ass to pay the mortgage. Did he say anything to you? He asked if I played sports. When I said no, he said I needed to man up or I'd end up like... Lucas trailed off. Like what? Like you. The rage that filled me was white-hot and pure. Bad enough that Tyler was sleeping with my wife. Bad enough that he'd humiliated me in public. But insulting my son? That crossed a line. Listen to me, I said, leaning forward. There's nothing wrong with who you are. You're smart, kind, thoughtful. Those are good things. Don't let anyone tell you different. I know, Dad. I wish things were different. Me too, buddy. Me too. When I dropped Lucas off at home, Rachel was waiting on the porch. She'd been crying, her makeup smeared, her hair a mess. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. We need to talk, she said. I think we've said enough. Please, Ethan, just 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I followed her inside. The house felt different already, like a place I used to live rather than home. I made a mistake, she said, wrapping her arms around herself. I was confused, lonely. You're always working. We never talk anymore. I felt invisible. So you had an affair. It didn't mean anything. It was just physical. You're my husband. You're Lucas's father. We can work through this. Can we? Because last night you called me a loser in front of our friends. You said you'd never marry me again. That didn't sound like someone who wanted to work things out. I was angry, embarrassed. You ambushed me. I ambushed you? Rachel, you've been humiliating me for months. Every conversation, every social gathering, every opportunity to make me feel small. Last night wasn't an ambush. It was the grand finale. She started crying again. I don't want to lose you. You already have. I went upstairs to pack the rest of my clothes. In our bedroom, her bedroom now, I could smell Tyler's cologne on the sheets, on my side of the bed. When I came back downstairs with my suitcase, Rachel was on the phone. He's being completely unreasonable, she was saying. I made one mistake, and he's throwing away 15 years of marriage. One mistake. Right. I set my house key on the kitchen counter and walked out. Behind me, I could hear her telling whoever was on the phone that I was having a midlife crisis, that I'd come crawling back within a week. She was wrong about that. Dead wrong. 2 weeks later, I was settling into my new apartment across town when Marcus knocked on my door with a bottle of whiskey and a grin. Housewarming gift, he said, holding up the bottle. How's the bachelor life treating you? Better than expected, I admitted. The apartment was small but clean, and for the first time in years, I could watch whatever I wanted on TV without commentary about my choices. Any word from the soon-to-be ex? She's been busy, hired a lawyer, filed for sole custody of Lucas, spread the word that I'm having a mental breakdown. I poured us each a drink. Oh, and she's telling everyone I was abusive. Marcus nearly choked on his whiskey. Abusive? You? You apologize to furniture when you bump into it. Apparently, emotional abuse counts. I was controlling and manipulative, made her feel trapped and worthless. That's rich coming from her. The best part. Tyler's been staying at the house, Lucas told me. 3 days after I moved out, Tyler moved in. So much for it being just physical. What's your lawyer say? That I need evidence, documentation, proof that she's been unfaithful, and that I'm not the monster she's painting me as. Marcus leaned back in his chair. You know, I might be able to help with that. How? Remember my cousin Lyle? The one who used to be a cop? I nodded. Lyle Chen was Marcus's older cousin, a gruff ex-detective who'd gone private after 20 years on the force. He owes me a favor, big one. Might be willing to do some digging for the right price. I can't afford a private investigator. You can't afford not to have one. Rachel's playing for keeps, Ethan. If you want to see your son more than every other weekend, you need ammunition. The next day, I met Lyle at a diner downtown. He was exactly what you'd expect from an ex-cop turned PI. Weathered face, suspicious eyes, and a voice like gravel from too many cigarettes. Marcus tells me you're getting screwed in a divorce, he said without preamble. That's one way to put it. Wife cheating? Yes. Can you prove it? I know it's happening. Proving it is the problem. Lyle pulled out a notebook. Tell me everything. Names, dates, places, times. Every detail you can remember. I spent an hour laying out the case. Tyler's gym, the sudden change in Rachel's behavior, the overnight stays, the way she'd started dressing differently. Lyle took notes without comment. This Tyler character, he said finally. What do you know about him? Not much. He owns CrossFit Hartford, drives a red Mustang, acts like God's gift to women.
She texted you come back to bed at 3 a.m. Last Tuesday, you told me you were at your sister's.
Watch more on Grammarly.com.
Married. Divorced. Twice, I think. Kids? Not sure. Lyle closed his notebook. Give me a week. I'll have a full background on both of them. Plus, documentation of their affair. It'll cost you $2,000. $2,000? Cheap, considering what you stand to lose in the divorce. You want your kid or not? I thought about Lucas, about Tyler telling him to man up, about Rachel using our son as a weapon against me. Do it. While Lyle worked his magic, I focused on being the best father I could be. I picked Lucas up from school when Rachel would let me, helped him with homework, listened to him talk about his friends and his classes. Slowly, he started opening up about what was happening at home. Tyler's there every night now, he told me over dinner at our pizza place. He acts like he owns everything, uses your coffee mug, sits in your chair, changes the channel without asking. How does that make you feel? Mad. And Mom gets mad when I'm mad about it. She says I need to adjust my attitude and give Tyler a chance. What's Tyler like with you? Lucas pushed food around his plate. He tries to act like my dad, asks about school and stuff. But then he makes these comments about how I should play sports or work out more. Says I'm too soft. You're not soft, Lucas. You're thoughtful. There's a difference. I know, but Mom agrees with him. She bought me a football and said I should practice in the backyard. I hate football. You don't have to play football. You don't have to be anyone other than who you are. Tyler says that's loser talk. I gripped my fork so hard I thought it might snap. Tyler doesn't know what he's talking about. Mom says you're just jealous because Tyler's successful and athletic. What do you think? Lucas looked up at me with eyes too old for his face. I think Tyler's a jerk, and I think Mom's different when he's around. Not in a good way. That weekend, Lyle called with his preliminary findings. Your wife's boyfriend is a piece of work, he said. 2 divorces, both messy. First wife accused him of cheating. Second wife got a restraining order. Apparently, he has anger management issues. What kind of issues? Threw a chair through a window during their custody hearing. Spent a night in jail for it. Jesus, gets better. His gym's in financial trouble. Behind on rent, equipment loans in default. He's been hitting up his female clients for private loans. Several complaints to the Better Business Bureau. So he's broke. Worse than broke. Desperate. Which makes your wife a target. What do you mean? Think about it. Married woman, nice house, steady income. Guy like Tyler doesn't just want the sex. He wants the security. The pieces started falling into place. Tyler wasn't just stealing my wife. He was planning to steal my life. I need more, I said. Photos, recordings, something that proves they're together. Already on it. Give me another week. But I didn't have to wait that long. 3 days later, Lucas called me crying. Dad, you need to come get me, please. What's wrong? They're fighting. Tyler and Mom. He's really mad, throwing things around. I'm scared. Where are you? In my room with the door locked. I'm on my way. Stay on the phone with me. I broke every speed limit getting to the house. When I pulled up, I could hear shouting from inside. Tyler's voice, loud and angry. Rachel's voice, high and defensive. I found Lucas on the front porch. his backpack over his shoulder. I snuck out the back door, he said. They didn't even notice. What were they fighting about? Money. Tyler wants Mom to pay for something, and she said no. He called her selfish and said she owed him. I hugged my son tight. You did the right thing calling me. You're safe now. As we drove away, I made a decision. Rachel wanted to play dirty, fine. But she was about to learn that I'd been holding back. The gloves were coming off. Lyle's full report arrived the next Monday, and it was better than I'd hoped. Photos of Rachel and Tyler entering and leaving hotels, credit card records showing Tyler using Rachel's cards for everything from gas to groceries, text messages between them that would make a sailor blush. But the real goldmine was Tyler's background. 3 DUIs, 2 assault charges, and a history of financial fraud. The man my wife was planning to replace me with was a walking disaster. This is enough to bury them both, Lyle said, spreading the evidence across my kitchen table. Your lawyer will love this. What about the restraining order from his second wife? Expired, but the court records are public. Want to guess what she accused him of? Tell me. Stalking, harassment, and threatening to release intimate photos if she didn't drop the divorce proceedings. I stared at the documents. He's done this before. Guys like Tyler don't change. They just find new victims. Rachel has no idea what she's gotten herself into. Probably not. But that's not your problem anymore. Except it was my problem, because Lucas was living in that house with them. My son was being exposed to a man with a history of violence and manipulation. That made it very much my problem. I called my lawyer, Janet Morrison, and scheduled an emergency meeting. Janet was a shark in a business suit, recommended by Marcus after his own divorce. She took one look at Lyle's evidence and smiled like Christmas morning. This changes everything, she said. With this documentation, we can push for primary custody and limit Rachel's parenting time if Tyler's in the picture. Can we get him out of the house? Not directly, but we can make life very uncomfortable for him. How? Janet's smile turned predatory. Leave that to me. While Janet worked the legal angle, I decided to take a more direct approach. Tyler's gym was struggling, and I had an idea that might push it over the edge. I created several fake online profiles and started leaving negative reviews on every platform I could find. Google, Yelp, Facebook, Angie's List. Each review told a different story. Poor equipment maintenance, unsafe training practices, unprofessional behavior from the owner. Terrible experience at CrossFit Hartford, I wrote under the name Jennifer K. The owner was more interested in hitting on married women than teaching proper form. My husband and I will never go back. Another review as Mike D. Equipment is falling apart and dangerous. Owner Tyler Brandt seems more focused on his personal drama than running a safe gym. Save your money and go somewhere else. Within a week, Tyler's rating had dropped from 4 stars to 2. His phone was ringing with cancellations. But I wasn't done. I knew Tyler's schedule. Lyle had been following him for weeks. Every Tuesday and Thursday, he went to Murphy's bar for lunch. The same bar where Rachel had humiliated me. I waited until he was settled at his usual table, then walked in and sat down across from him. We need to talk, I said. Tyler looked up from his burger, his expression shifting from surprise to amusement. Well, well, if it isn't the ex-husband. Come to beg Rachel to take you back? Actually, I came to give you some advice. I don't need advice from you. You might want to hear this. I pulled out my phone and showed him one of Lyle's photos. Tyler and Rachel entering the Marriott downtown. Nice picture, don't you think? Tyler's smirk faded. You following me now? I don't have to. You're not exactly subtle. I put the phone away. Here's the thing, Tyler. I know about your financial problems. The gym, the loans, the desperate need for someone to bail you out. I know about your ex-wives, the restraining orders, the anger management issues. I know everything. You don't know shit. I know you're using Rachel. The question is, does she know you're using her? Tyler leaned forward, his voice dropping to a growl. Listen, you little weasel. Rachel chose me. She's done with you. Get over it. Rachel chose the person you're pretending to be. What happens when she finds out who you really are? She won't, because there's nothing to find out. I stood up and dropped a manila envelope on the table. That's a copy of everything I have on you. Police reports, court records, Financial documents, the works. Keep screwing with my family, and I'll make sure everyone in town sees it. Tyler grabbed the envelope and tore it open. His face went white as he scanned the contents. You son of a bitch. Stay away from my son, I said. And if you hurt Rachel, I'll destroy you. I walked out of the bar feeling better than I had in months, but I knew Tyler wouldn't back down easily. Men like him didn't retreat when cornered, they attacked. I was right. 2 days later, Lucas called me from school. Dad, something weird happened. Tyler came to my school during lunch. What? He was waiting by the parking lot. He said he wanted to talk to me. My blood ran cold. Did you talk to him? No, I saw him and went back inside. But Dad, he looked really angry. Listen to me very carefully. If you ever see Tyler anywhere near your school again, you call me immediately. Don't talk to him. Don't go near him. Just call me. Okay, but why would he come to my school? Because he was trying to get to me through my son. Because I'd cornered him, and now he was lashing out at the most vulnerable target he could find. I called Janet immediately. That's harassment, she said. Possibly stalking. I can get a restraining order. How long will that take? Few days, maybe a week. I need it faster than that. Ethan, let the system work. Don't do anything stupid. But the system had failed to protect my son once already. I wasn't going to let it fail again. That night, I drove to Tyler's gym. It was after hours, but his Mustang was in the parking lot. Through the window, I could see him working out alone, lifting weights with the desperate intensity of a man trying to punch his way out of his problems. I waited until he came out, then approached him in the parking lot. Stay away from my son, I said. Tyler spun around, his face flushed with exertion and anger. Or what? Or I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of man you really are. You already tried that, remember? Didn't work out so well for you. That was just the opening act. Tyler stepped closer, using his size to intimidate me. You think you're tough now? You think having some pictures makes you dangerous? I think you're a coward who goes after children when he can't handle adults. That did it. Tyler swung at me, a wild haymaker that I saw coming from a mile away. I ducked, and his fist connected with the side mirror of his own car. Shit! He yelled, clutching his hand. Careful, I said. Wouldn't want to damage the car. Oh wait, you can't afford to fix it anyway. Tyler lunged at me again, but this time I was ready. I sidestepped and stuck out my foot. He went down hard, landing face first in a puddle of dirty water. Next time you want to intimidate someone, I said, standing over him, pick someone who doesn't have 2 daughters and a son to protect. Stay away from my family, Tyler. This is your only warning. I walked away, leaving him sputtering in the puddle. Behind me, I could hear him cursing and threatening, but I didn't look back. The war was just getting started. The restraining order came through faster than Janet had predicted, thanks to Tyler's visit to Lucas's school and the parking lot incident. Tyler was now legally required to stay at least 500 feet away from my son and me. But legal documents don't stop desperate men, and Tyler was getting more desperate by the day. His gym was hemorrhaging members, thanks to my online campaign, and Rachel was starting to ask questions about his finances. I knew this because Lucas had become my unwitting spy. Not intentionally, I would never ask my son to gather information for me. But teenagers see and hear everything, and Lucas was no exception. Tyler's been getting a lot of angry phone calls, he told me over dinner at Tony's Pizza. Something about money he owes. And Mom found out he's been using her credit card without asking. How did she react to that? She was really mad. They had a huge fight about it. Tyler said it was just temporary, that he'd pay her back when his business picked up. But Mom said he'd been saying that for weeks. Are you okay staying there? You know you can always come to my apartment if you need to. Lucas nodded. I know, it's just, I feel bad leaving Mom alone with him. He's been really moody lately. Yesterday, he punched a hole in the kitchen wall because the Wi-Fi was slow. My protective instincts went into overdrive. He punched a wall? Yeah. Mom made excuses for him. Said he was under a lot of stress, but, Dad, I don't think he's a good person. Trust your instincts, Lucas. They're usually right. That weekend, I decided to escalate things, and if Tyler wanted to play games, I'd show him what a real player looked like. I started with his business relationships. A little research revealed that Tyler had partnerships with several local businesses: a supplement store, a massage therapist, a nutritionist. They all displayed CrossFit Hartford flyers and sent him referrals. I visited each one posing as a concerned citizen who'd had a bad experience at Tyler's gym. I didn't lie. I just shared the truth about Tyler's background, his legal troubles, his history of violence. I just thought you should know who you're partnering with, I told Sarah, the massage therapist. I'd hate for your reputation to be damaged by association. By Monday, 3 of Tyler's 4 business partnerships had been terminated. Next, I targeted his landlord. Commercial property managers hate drama, and Tyler was about to become very dramatic. I anonymously sent copies of Tyler's police reports to the building management company, along with photos of Tyler's confrontation with me in the parking lot. The eviction notice was posted on Tuesday. But my masterstroke came when I discovered that Tyler had been lying to Rachel about more than just his finances. Lyle's investigation had uncovered something delicious. Tyler was still married. His second divorce had never been finalized. A paperwork error had left him technically married to his ex-wife, who was now living in Florida, and had no idea her ex-husband was shacked up with another woman in Connecticut. I debated whether to tell Rachel directly or let her discover it on her own. In